So Season 2 of Invincible just dropped, and as you'd expect, there's a big resurgence in Invincible content. Mostly everyone's talking about who can Omni Man beat up and who can beat him up. And honestly, a lot of people can beat him up, but you know what, I'm gonna give him the benefit of doubt, because anyone who can fly fast enough to destroy entire planets gets respect. Like, that's a really hard feat. He's pretty damn powerful, which is why I got a pretty interesting matchup for this video. Yeah, that's right, we're gonna be putting Omni Man from Invincible up against the Chaos Bringer himself, Unicron from the Transformer series. So let's take a look at our contenders, starting with, of course, Omni Man. Omni Man is the strongest Viltrumite from his planet, and quite possibly even the strongest Viltrumite who ever lived. While it takes him some time to get up to speed, he is capable of flying so fast that he could destroy entire planets by using his own body as a projectile. And he can fly so fast that he can cross entire unfathomable lengths of space in just weeks. And this is not mentioning that he is incredibly durable, as his only real weaknesses are intense sounds of certain decibels and being exposed to the sun itself. While he can be killed by the sun, it will take extremely long for it to do so. He has an insane healing factor comparable to those of Deadpool and Wolverine, and the icing on top of the cake is that he's ridiculously strong, being able to push an entire meteorite away from the Earth the size of Texas, with the capabilities of destroying the moon twice over, and possibly even destroying the planet itself. He pushed this thing with little to no effort whatsoever. Oh, and by the way, he can live for thousands and thousands of years. Now, one thing I would like to point out is that while Invincible does have a multiverse, which in theory would mean that there's an infinite number of Omni-Men out there, we don't have a whole lot of information on too many alternate Omni-Men. So we're just going to be sticking with our current one for the sake of this video, the one that we're all familiar with. Wrapping everything up for Omni-Man, it's time we take a look at our second contender, the monster planet Unicron. Unicron is a transformer that takes the form of a planet with an unsatiable hunger that always requires them to eat and eat and eat. And this mofo eats entire planets. Unicron is literally the physical embodiment of evil, making him the robot Satan. Unicron is so good at destroying all life and eating planets that he successfully erased an entire universe until it came back. And you know what he did? He immediately tried to do it again and was almost successful at erasing a universe twice. A feat that not even Galactus was able to pull off. And I still haven't mentioned that Unicron is a literal god, being able to pull off impossible feats, only being able to be destroyed by his brother planet Primus, aka Cybertron, or an essence of Primus, being the Matrix of Leadership. He possesses the ability to warp anywhere in space and time, allowing him to essentially fast travel to anywhere he wants. He can create black holes that can swallow the entire universe. He can mind control people and even physically torture them and possibly even kill them just by telepathy alone. And remember what I said about Unicron being a god? Well, that's because he's an omnipotent, multi-dimensional or multiversal being or singularity that allows him to exist in every single universe at once, meaning that no matter what continuity of Transformers you look at, it is all the same Unicron. And if you want an estimate on Unicron's lifespan, or if he even has one, we really don't know, because Unicron has been around since before the universe was even a thing. So now that we've laid out both of our contenders and taken a look at both of their abilities and what they can do, I can tell you right now, without even projecting any sort of bias, because I am kind of a Transformers channel, that Unicron wins this fight almost effortlessly. You see, the problem with this fight is that it is so blatantly unfair, because despite Omni Man being as powerful and as strong as he is, Even if he were potentially strong enough to destroy Unicron's physical form, there is no destroying Unicron. You can destroy Unicron's physical form, but you're forgetting that Unicron is the literal and physical embodiment of evil, and so long as evil exists, Unicron will exist and still have influence over the cosmos. So he will always exist and he will always come back. Now, let's say you're not happy with that conclusion and you want Unicron to be a bit more active in this fight. Okay, all he would have to do is either use his mind control to mentally torture Omni Man, or just speak. Because I guarantee you his voice would be so loud that it would be in the decibels high enough to completely shatter Omni Man's ears, completely distracting him long enough to have Unicron just crush him with his hand. Because Unicron is such a massive transformer, he transforms into a freaking planet that eats other planets, that even with Omni-Man's resistance to damage and his incredible healing factor, he would still end up getting crushed to death, because Unicron ate the entire universe, which requires a ridiculous amount of energy. So without a doubt, Unicron would still be much stronger than Omni Man if it came down to just brute force and strength alone. The only way to get rid of Unicron is to either use the Matrix of Leadership or to have Primus himself defeat him. So unless Nolan is going to team up with Optimus Prime and use the Matrix of Leadership, there's realistically no way that Omni Man could beat Unicron. I have even thought of some scenarios where Omni Man could just fly inside of Unicron and try to cause some damage from the inside out, but realistically, without the Matrix, there's not a whole lot he could really do. If you've seen the original Transformers movie from 1986, then you'd know that this is exactly what Unicron wants, because this is how he traps the Autobots, leading to his demise. But that's just because one of them just so happened to be carrying the only thing that could kill him. In this scenario, I really doubt that Nolan's gonna have the Matrix, so he's pretty much trapped. And now the final reason why this fight does not work and why it's so blatantly unfair is because Unicron has been around since before the universe even existed, meaning that time is non-existent for Unicron. All he would need to do realistically is just wait for Omni Man to die of natural causes. So there you have it, folks. I just wasted about 8 minutes of your life with a fight that just would not work whatsoever. But since everyone on the internet is making their own matchups with Omni Man versus insert character here, I wanted to throw my own hat in the ring. So sorry if you were expecting Omni Man to win this fight, or if you were expecting some sort of animation of these guys actually fighting. I mean, what do you think this is, Death Battle? Nevertheless, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as it greatly helps out the channel. I had a lot of fun making this video and researching the characters, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.